little town I grew up believing.
This is Perry Smith in the studio with Mayor Bob Kellar and City Manager Ken Striplin. We're talking about all things Santa Clarita, and one of the things we were just starting to touch on before the break is, you know, the kind of the lobbying aspect of your job, the political side of things. It's not just community servicing. It's also, you know, kind of making sure that other forces are kind of taking care of us. Talk to me a little about some of the issues that are on the agenda as far as you know, from Sacramento.
Well, and thank you for going into this area of our involvement, if you will. It's critically important that the city, shall we say, stay engaged with our elected representatives at all level of government. Certainly our supervisor, Mike Antonovich, city manager, and myself met with him a couple of weeks ago, spent time talking about things of interest and concerns with our representatives in Sacramento. We've got issues here in Santa Clarita, as they do up and down the state, having to do with the economy. The enterprise zone is so critically important. As you know, there's been already some changes by the state that has affected our ability to do certain things in our city, but the enterprise zone has proven to be a key ingredient for the expansion of employment opportunities for our citizens, and we are working very closely with our representatives in Sacramento to ensure that they do not take that away, because it is going to hurt the economy, not only here in Santa Clarita, but throughout the state of California. We can't have that. Look what happened with redevelopment being taken away. It's cost a lot of people their jobs. It's certainly put on hold a lot of things that were going to be, particularly for us in the Newhall area, that we had planned to accomplish for our community. So we're very concerned about these things, and we do all we can to protect the interest of our city and our citizens.
And unless you're a business owner, you might not fully understand, you know, the enterprise zone aspect. I know myself, I don't own a business. I could use a little brushing up. Can you tell me a little bit about how that helps our community?
Sure. The enterprise zone is a state tax incentive program that local businesses can take advantage of. And there are a number of different benefits that they can receive, anything from sales tax rebates. But the biggest one really deals with their hiring credit. And local businesses, if they hire qualified workers, can receive up to $35,000 or $37,000 over 5 years in tax deduction. So it's a big impact. It's had a significant impact in terms of hiring and in retaining employees in the valley.
Sure, that's like 3 radio hosts right there.
That's right, and it's big, you know, and it's all the number of businesses that really take advantage of the enterprise zone run the gamut. So it's not for any one type of business. It really is everything from small businesses to medium business to large businesses.
So, and I think it's important to also share when we talk about the enterprise zone here at a time that we just recently got approval for an expansion of our program here in Santa Clarita, the city, if you will, and it now goes into the unincorporated areas. And what an opportunity for the Santa Clarita Valley. So we feel very strong about this, but at a time where we've literally had the ability to expand it and do additional good things, now they're talking about taking it away.
Now, there are certainly more issues on Sacramento that we'd like to get into, but you had brought up something that was interesting as far as your meetings with the county and Supervisor Mike Antonovich. Tell me a little bit about what that discussion entailed, as far as, you know, that's a little more local as far as Los Angeles County and our interaction with them. What are the issues there?
Well, with our supervisor, obviously there's a number of things that we need to work closely with the county on. Some mutual projects. The WMS Hart Park over in Newhall, if you might know, has got a beautiful new facade to the front of the park and improvements in that regard. And that is going to be working with what we plan to do with some further improvements with the Newhall area. Right across the street, literally, there's going to be a roundabout. We're going to make sure that all of this flows and makes sense and works together, county, city working together. Our law enforcement is, you were discussing earlier, our law enforcement polices not only the city but the unincorporated areas. We have things of mutual concern that we want to accomplish in providing the resources necessary to our local sheriffs to protect this community. And the list goes on and on and on. We're talking about maybe new sheriff's headquarters somewhere, maybe substations. There's a lot of things on our plate with the county. And we've got an excellent rapport with our supervisor, and we've accomplished much working together.
I know Supervisor Mike Antonovich has certainly been a voice for the Santa Clarita Valley in the 5th District. One of the things that he's been kind of championing and making sure that we're aware of is this Clean Water, Clean Beaches Act. The proposal, it came from Los Angeles County, but the supervisor has certainly been letting people know that it's maybe not the greatest thing for our city, especially where we already pay the tax. Talk to me a little bit about the issues there.
Well, and you're absolutely right. The city has been very proactive. You know, there's been a number of programs and things required of cities that ultimately stem back to the Clean Water Act that was put into place, I believe, in 1971 for states and cities to literally clean up their act. And by the way, it's a good thing. We've made tremendous inroads to improving our environment across this nation and our waterways and so forth as a result of that. However, I like to term it as balance. And as we now find ourselves here in 2013, they want to come up with another tax, and this one is to pay for storm drain water and runoff and cleanup of things of that kind. And I think one of our council members said it best, and he says, well, God gave us rain, and now you're figuring out a way to tax that. And I think he's right on. And the truth of the matter is the city's already been proactive in this area. The city already, our citizens, approved and are paying approximately, depends on the size parcel of land or something, but typically $15, $20, $25 a year that we utilize that money in cleaning up stormwater runoff here already.
And my understanding is this would add another $53 to homes, and then up to thousands of dollars depending on the lot size for businesses.
That's correct. And the impact just to us as a city organization is almost $500,000. Wow. So the numbers add up very quickly.
I bet. And as far as the businesses and nonprofits, they're not exempt either. They're all going to get hit with
the school districts are in the same. Yeah, exactly. School districts are in the same situation.
And there's a meeting coming up on it. People can still voice their protest. I understand in March.
Right. They can still send in their protests for their specific parcels, and there's also going to be a meeting. I believe the next public hearing is March 12th.
That's correct.
Down at the Board of Supervisors, so people should definitely go make their voices heard.
And I want to make it very clear to your listeners, if I can, that this city is fighting this. Absolutely, we're pulling out all the stops. This is not going to occur if we can possibly win this battle.
Well, that's good to hear. We'll be right back after the break. We'll talk a little bit more about the lobbying efforts of Mayor Bob Kellar, the City Council, and City Manager Ken Striplin. This is the City of Santa Clarita Spotlight Show on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS, and we'll be right back after the break.
Hello.